Hi everyone, my name is Gideon Besaidnot and I am an application engineer for Micrographics. In this video we're going to have a look at a multi-body part design in a normal parts environment and how we can utilize a derived part within that design. You'll notice I'm just going to open a standard millimeter IPT. And from here I'll start creating the multi-body parts within the normal parts environment. Now first of all, this can be very beneficial depending on your industry and the type of designs that you create. Now in the Manage tab, you'll notice that we do have the functionality for Derived. Now the Derived component is a part that we can bring into our assembly or into our model space, and if there's any updates with the original parts, this part will update automatically. There's different features and settings and options you can choose from when you bring in a derived part. Let's go through it. I'm just going to browse to the specific location to bring in a derived part. I'm going to bring in that part right there. Now from here you do have your different options. You can include your solid bodies depending on your environment. You can bring in sketches and parameters if any parameters have been created in your parts. You can bring it in, and you can choose to bring it in as a single solid body with measuring out seams, without seams, planar faces, or just maintain each solid as a solid body, even bring it in as a surface. You also do have your different representations if you have set up different model states or design views, and this is one of the important tabs, is the options. Here you can choose if you want to break the link with the base component. Now that means if the base component updates, this has nothing to do with the base component, so this will not update. Now this is where the derived function is quite important, because if you have a standard part that you're using in multiple assemblies, it's quite important to think about if you want to break the link or keep the link, because if that original part updates, would you like it to be associative throughout all the different components and so on where it has been used. Now in this instance I'm just going to break the link. I do not want to even link the color of the original part. I'm going to say OK. Now I'm just going to reorientate my views, set that as my front view, and I'm going to set that as a home view, fix the distance. Now because this was now brought in the derived part, I can use this and build an assembly in the standard parts environment. From here I'm going to go and create a 2D sketch on this face over here, and I can use project geometry to bring all of this in. I'm going to simply go and create a polygon as an example. Going to change that to 8, use the same center point, use a constraint just to make this line horizontal and vertical, and I'm going to dimension that, let's say 40 millimeters. Going to say finish. Now I'm going to extrude this part over here, including that, and I'm going to ensure I'm creating a new solid. A new solid will assist in creating a new solid that we can convert into a part. Say new solid. I'm just going to call this top. I think I clicked the wrong button here on my mouse. Going to say new. Going to call that top flange as an example. Now in the solids body folder, you can see I've got my valve and top flange. And here's your sketch. You can also redefine a sketch plane, make it visible if you want to. Use the extrude again. From this top flange, I'm going to select this as my starting plane, and for instance, let's say I'm going to make that 20 mils, and that's going to be part of this solid over here. Going to say OK, and you'll notice how the bodies are starting to form a multi-body. Body 1 with only the derived part that was brought in. I've got my top flange with the first extrusion and the second extrusion. Now I can go and continue building on top of this part and create all the different parts as needed or required. I'm going to go into the bottom part and create the same drawing over here. Going to use my horizontal and vertical constraints just to get it straight. Make that 40 millimeters. Say finish. Extrude. I did not use project geometry, so it's very important to bring in what you need to bring in to create your parts. That only needs to be 10 millimeters, and again it's a new solid. Bottom flange. In the bottom flange, going to go and switch on the visibility of that sketch. Going to extrude the octagon, choose my solid as this solid over here, sketch profile from there. It's just selected all the profiles. From that face over there, it's going to join this solid over here. As you can see, it's forming part of the valve body. Just ensure that you are selecting the correct body for the extrusion. Now, a very good example is if I did not notice that this extrusion was part of the valve body extrusion, this extrusion would have formed part of the valve body. Now from here, I'm going to go to my home page. I can go and switch off the visibility of the sketches as needed or required. I'm only going to create these two parts on the derived part. Go to the Manage tab, and now I can make components. So now it needs to be saved. The errors I got is just because I'm on a default project, not in an actual project that was created for all the links to be generated. From here I can choose my template. For instance, I want to use a metric, standard millimeter IAM. I can choose all three the parts. I can choose where it wants to save a location. I can give it a specific name. Can go to next. And now I can go and change the standard IPTs for each one. This needs to be millimeter, as I'm only using a metric template. You can change the component names, even the BOM structure, the source path, and you can say apply, and all those parts would have been generated as different parts that you can utilize. If I go into my documents, and you'll see the parts that have been generated within my assembly that I can utilize, and it opened up an assembly file for me that I can go and make the modifications as needed or required, as it generated each solid body as a separate part. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and follow for more content.